Greetings, my name's Neosekken, and welcome to a brand new Let's Play of Chaos Head Noah. So, a brand spanking new series. Not another episode of The Devil on G-String or some version of Higurashi When They Cry, but a whole brand spanking new thing. Which in itself, as far as I'm aware, belongs to the same series of visual novels that Steins Gate belongs to. And I do not remember what that franchise's name is at the moment. I'm just going to put this here, so if there's any videos or anything that'll autoplay, it won't do that. So, I know virtually nothing about this game whatsoever. I can't even remember the basic summary of it. That's how long ago I last since looked into this thing. So, for all intents and purposes, I'm going to be going in this thing almost entirely blind, even of the basic summary of the story. So, that should definitely make things pretty interesting for me, because I won't really know what to expect going in. So, before we get started, I just want to let you guys know here that I am playing a fan-translated version of this game that changes the script of the whole game here to match closer to the original Japanese version, as well as help restore some content that was censored for the overseas releases. So, this version of the game that I'm playing, that I wish I could also remember the name of the damn translation I used. Probably come back to me later, maybe, who knows, no idea. But yeah, this is going to be basically as close to the Japanese original as I can hope to get here, but it's translated in English, so definitely going to be better than the standard retail release. Is all I'm trying to say here. So if any of you are here and were hoping that I would cover that specific release, well, I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news for you, but well, that's not what we're covering here. So, I think that covers everything that I wanted to say about this thing before we get started, so let's get started. So, basic settings look okay. I don't want to change costumes. I'm assuming that's something that's best saved for after I complete the game or something. Because I remember there's some kind of swimsuit DLC thing that I had to install too. Measure speed and everything looks okay. So, let's get started. Ah, crap, I forgot to read the freaking text under the title. Oh, whatever, I'm sure I'll see it again soon enough.
視線が空から降ってくる。その瞳はいつも僕を見つめていて、眼差しは熱くて真っ黒な雨雲を突き抜けて、雨のように僕へと降り注ぐ。
Creepy.
僕を見るな。雨の冷たさより背中を預けている瓦礫の冷たさのせいで、さっきから体の震えが止まらない。ひどく寒い。突き刺さってくる誰のものかもわからない天からの視線。それから逃げるように僕はわずかに首を持ち上げて周囲を見回す。そこにあるのは崩壊した町。そこにあるのは絶望。そこにあるのは死。そこにあるのは無。誰もいない。誰も動いていない。誰も生きていない。聞こえるのはただ降り続ける雨の音だけ。
So what happened here?
このまま全てを、生きているものも死んでいるものも、全てを優しく包み込んで洗い流してしまうんだろうか。 全部の出来事が単なる妄想だったらよかったんだけど、どうやらそうでもないらしい。体が動かない。動かせるのはかろうじて首と瞳だけ。体が震えているけど、そんなのただの生理現象でしかない。僕の意志じゃない。僕は身を震わせたいなんて思ってない。僕の自由にならないなら、こんなの僕の体じゃない。あるいは生まれた時から僕は自由なんかじゃなかったかもしれない。心の保管してある場所なんて誰にもわからないんだ。それなのに、一体誰がこの体の中に僕の心があるって言い切れるんだ。でも、だったら僕はどこにいたんだろう。僕はここにいるのかな。僕はどこにもいないのかな。すべてが静止している壊れてしまった世界に、ふと死の雨以外の音が響く。無の中から浮かび上がってくるたった一つの湯。君は誰？その肌が青白く見えるのは雨の冷たさに凍えているから、それとも君がもう死んでいるから。でも彼女は震えていなかった。そして前髪で隠れそうになっているその瞳は、奥を見るな。ひどく悲しそうにも見える。狂気じみているようにも見える。何も映していないようにも見える。もしも世界には僕と彼女の二人だけしかいなくて、こうしてお互いだけを永遠に見つめ合っていたら、僕の世界は彼女の瞳に映るものだけになるのかな。彼女の世界は僕の瞳に映るものだけになるのかな。彼女の瞳に映るものは僕、僕の瞳に映るものは彼女。そう考えると世界は途端に矮小化する。ねえ。不意に僕の耳に届くとてもきれいなノイズ。彼女はうなだれて両手を左右に広げる。まるであの雨雲の上へ向けて飛び立とうとするかのように、あるいはこの雨すべてを受け止めようとするかのように。
あなたを見つめ、
うなだれた彼女の表情は僕の位置からも伺い知ることができない。雨の薄膜の向こうで君はどんな顔をしている？
殺してあげる。
天使、乱舞する光の羽は僕を祝福しているのか、それとも、ああ、そうか、理解したよ。それで僕を殺してくれるんだね。ゆっくりと 倒れている僕の前に彼女が膝をつく。いまだに彼女はうなだれたまま。僕の頭をそっと抱えてくる。僕を見てくれないことに僕はほっとしてただ身を委ねた。耳元でささやき、きれいなノイズ。でもよく聞こえない。暖かくて柔らかくて優しくて甘美な感触。それは麻酔のようで、不思議なことに体の震えがゆっくりと収まっていく。彼女のかすかな鼻息が僕の頬をくすぐる。とても甘い匂い。ふと胸に圧迫感を覚えた。彼女の持っていた大きな剣が僕の胸の皮膚を裂き、肉をえぐり、骨の間を縫い、ゆっくりと体の中に沈み込んできている。でも彼女のキスという麻酔にかけられてもう痛みを感じない。こんなにも優しく殺してくれるから、不意に切なくなって涙があふれそうになって、それをごまかすために彼女の頭越しに雨を落とし続けている鈍色の空を見上げた。空が滲んでいるのは雨のせい、涙のせい。もうあの視線も感じない。もう何もない。薄れゆく意識の中で僕は空へと手を伸ばす。誰か教えて。僕たちのあの空はどこへ行ったんだろう。
たちのバイオリズムがもし特別なものなら、記憶のペテンも裏切りの夢も理にかなうようにつながる。でもしも時々見せる君のあの笑顔さえもハリボテのように崩れていくなら、普通に time goes on everything。 そのメロディカル誰の目始まったプレイ。
Chapter 1 Eyes and Eyes. I couldn't see the gaze. Well, okay, so I guess I need to advance it myself. So good, I got a minute to just collect my thoughts a little. So, what appears to be a world-ending event, or at least a city-wide ending event, because that city certainly has seen better days. I'm smack in the middle of it. What looks to be one of the main, lead characters comes along, and I don't know, does some kind of mercy killing on me? Okay, we definitely got some kind of big mystery set up here. You got my attention on that front. I'll give you that. So I guess the question I got now is, how did we wind up at that place to begin with? And what caused that event to occur? What is the event, for that matter? Whatever it is, I am not sure if it's a man-made thing or something else altogether. It's just wild speculation. It'd be just wild speculation on my part at this point, because I know literally nothing. But as for that so-called death I saw, I kind of wonder if that's just some kind of fake out that they're trying to do with me to get me to think, oh no, my main lead's gonna die at the end. But in actuality, I don't, for some reason or another. Or if it's not a fake out, then, well, okay, then what exactly does that mean for me in particular by the time I reach that event? Like, how exactly is the story going to continue if our main lead from that point meets his end and there's no way to reverse it or something like that? Well, unless there's some weird time travel hijinks going on. Whatever, let's just continue. I'm sure I'll get some idea of what's going on here soon enough. I couldn't see the gaze. I couldn't see it, even though it was watching me. It was strange. For as long as I could remember, I sometimes felt like I was being watched by some mysterious gaze. And suddenly, for whatever reason, I'm just now remembering that I have been given warning by one of my viewers that the main protagonist is a bit of a jerk. Will I find out just how much of a jerk within a very short order, I wonder? Is he Kyosuke's levels bad of jerk? Sorry. Didn't mean to go off on that little tangent there. For as long as I could remember, I sometimes felt like I was being watched by some mysterious gaze. But whenever I turned to look, there was never anyone there. Still, I was convinced that someone was watching me. But I could tell by the chills that ran down my back. My neck, excuse me. Was I just being too self-conscious? Or did I just have a fear of being watched? Way back in elementary school, I thought of it differently. That gaze is God watching over me. And I genuinely believed it too. I'd even written an essay about it back then. New tip. Chunibu? Oh, so this thing's got story tips, huh? In retrospect, I must have had a bad case of Chunibyo. No idea if I'm saying that right. But now, it hurt just thinking about it. If anyone were to read it now, I'd probably shut myself away from society for the rest of my life. I'm just going to check something real quick and right-click, see if a menu pops up. Cool menu. Not going to lie. Tip list. What do we have here? Chunibyo, literally 8th grade syndrome. A term also referring to a mindset exhibited primarily by adolescent males. Also used as a derogatory term used to refer to older people who still exhibit this mindset. Chunibyo. Okay, I think I know the type of person / character they're talking about now. Characterized by an affected attitude of nihilism or cynicism, antisocial behavior, fantastical delusions, and or consuming fear of being treated as a child. The person exhibiting these symptoms believes that they are cool, but most adults will find it comical. Chunibu, which is often abbreviated as chuni, also refers to the fictional tropes that teenage males tend to enjoy, such as ancient conspiracies, superpowers, especially powers sealed in a character's eye or arm. It literally is just what I was thinking about. Norse mythology, that's a new one on me personally, battles for the fate of the multiverse, etc. The consummate Chunibu case will work such elements into their own personal backstory. These people are always fun to watch. At least in animus and mangamus. And shame I can't interact with that red X up in the corner. How disappointing. Can check the backlog this way too, so that's nice. And I can even repeat voice dialogue. Okay. If anyone were to read it now, I'd probably shut myself away from society for the rest of my life. Okay, thinking about now, I wonder, how should I go about the tips, since I can apparently check them out anytime I want? Maybe for now I'll just check them out shortly after I get each one here, so that way I'll at least have my definitions quickly brought up to speed if I'm unfamiliar with them, or at least the game's definitions of whatever tips or terms it wants to throw my way. So I don't have to go through the entire episode, probably not knowing what a few select terms end up meaning. And that way, also, everybody would end up being on the same page around roughly the same time I am, if they aren't already. Might break the pacing of the story a little bit, but it's probably for the best. Better that I take the time to divert a little bit and at least make sure I know what the hell is being spoken about, rather than just go on and pretend like I know what they're talking about when I really don't. Know what I mean? If anyone were to read it now, I'd probably shut myself away from society for the rest of my life. Fuhihi. I could still remember the title of that essay. Whose Eyes Are Those Eyes? By Nishijo Takumi. I see a bunch of figurines and posters in this room. My chair groaned hoarsely as I leaned back.
僕を見るな。
Wasn't expecting... Yeah, these look like 3D renders. Aren't they? Either that or really convincing looking, or really convincing two-dimensional 3D art. I muttered that toward the gloomy ceiling, irritated. Naturally, there was no response. Never let your guard down, you hear? Don't need to tell me twice, pink hair. This was my room. I lived here alone. Aside from me, of course, there wasn't a single person here. I tried turning around. This is 3D. Wasn't expecting that. My room was dim and cluttered, with various belongings stacked all the way to the ceiling. I want to get in this room and tidy it up. Like, holy shit. The urge to just tidy up is just building very fast in me. He's even got snacks and trash all over his fucking desk. You're pissing me off already! The only source of light in the room was the desk lamp near my PC. And looks to me like what you got on your left monitor is some kind of Dark Souls looking clone, or maybe, or at least some third person fantasy Western RPG game. Maybe that's what it's called, Kingdom of ESO. There weren't any windows, so the darkness should come in as no surprise. And since you couldn't see outside, you couldn't even tell whether it was night or day. Look at all of these. How much money must he have spent on them? That's not me. That's not a criticism for me, by the way. I'm just legitimately curious. I started speaking into the dark corners of the room. Can I get rid of the text box?
僕の名前は西条匠、17歳、水明学園2年と言っても学校にはほとんど行ってないけど。
Nice to meet you, Nishijo. Now, okay, spacebar didn't do it. What about H button?
まあそれでも勉強はできる方だよ。
Ah, shit. Well, that's just because I study from home. I'll let you talk. Buddy, I'm hitting the mic. Come on, man. Okay, fine, I'll read it myself. Well, that's just because I study from home. As long as I come in to take the tests, I can ace them all just fine. I'm pretty smart, you know. It wasn't like talking to myself would accomplish anything. It wasn't like anyone was going to show up out of nowhere. The darkness just kept on sitting there and being darkness, as darkness is wont to do. It's good at that, just being there, being ominous, being all-consuming, hiding the things that want to eat your knees. Still, darkness was delusion fuel. Is it really delusion all the time, though? I beg to differ. After all, the unseen might as well be the unknown. In the darkness, even if you knew it was impossible, you couldn't help but wonder if something might be there, lurking in the shadows. Damn it, this wasn't helping. I was only making my own creepy delusions worse. Why did I do this to myself? Why don't you ask literally every other creature on the planet, save for the nocturnal ones, that question, and I'm sure they would all give you the exact same answer, more or less. Because the unknown is spooky. Okay, lesson learned. Q button, or whatever the hell I push towards the upper left corner, just causes it to do fast forward. So, you know what? I'll save the playing around and messing around and experimenting with what the keyboard does for when I'm not recording. Like, maybe I'll just boot up my save and all that and just, or restart the prologue so I don't accidentally skip forward from wherever I stop this episode, and figure out just, wait, no, I don't even need to do that. Options, config. Key config, auto mode, hide menu. Well, I do have a controller plugged in to my computer right now, so why don't I press the B button on it? Okay, there we go. There we go. I didn't even need to play around with it. Saved myself some time and some possible headaches. I rule. I'm a genius. To get off the topic, I decided to keep monologuing.
僕は現在アウェイじゃなかった。渋谷で一人暮らしをしてる。この紅会館ビルは父さんの経営するビル会社の管理下にあるんだけど、その屋上に設置されたコンテナハウスを格安で借りてるんだ。
That's what we're in? A shipping container? I can feel the love from your dad, alright. Like, holy shit. Or maybe you're just the sort of person that's just drove him to his breaking point, and he's just he's just lost so much hope in you that his way of protesting your ineptitude is just letting you rent a shipping container. Like, you don't like maybe his train of logic is, if you at any point ever feel degraded, denigrated, just living in a freaking shipping container, just apply yourself more in your life. Work to get out of this situation and be a more respectable member of society, and rent a cheap apartment like the rest of us plebs. You know, kind of like just giving you that indirect push to just get you some momentum under your feet, so you can just be a more productive member of society. I know I'm not explaining myself well here. Words are kind of failing me at the moment, but maybe it's something like that. Some weird form of tough love that I just can't quite grasp here. Or maybe it's the former option and there's just not much love to speak of. Maybe. That's also possible. I mean, it's a goddamn shipping container. Even I wouldn't be that cruel to my own kid.
町の環境は最悪。僕が住んでる新船長は小さな坂が多いから疲れるし、すぐ近くにラブホ街もあるし。ここが秋葉なら最高だったのに。
Is Akiba a real city, though? I'll have to
ほん
look
と
that
渋
up.
谷ってひどい街だ。円数で言うとディーンズバレーくらいひどい。
Well, he's talking about Shibuya, which I know for sure is a real city in Japan, so maybe it is. Akiba, I mean. Not familiar with Dennis Valley, though. What? Oh, it's in your game. It even animates. Look at this, and oh, I saw a tip. The ESO is the name of an MMORPG that was basically my life. Well, why don't we find out a little bit more about your life, shall we? Just how exciting is it? MMORPG, short for Massively Multiplayer Online Role-Playing Game. A role-playing game in which an unspecified number of players connect to a game world established on an online server and play simultaneously. So, going by this tiny little bit of information, I guess you are quite a social butterfly, aren't you, Mr. Protag? You must be very popular. Its full title was Empire Sweeper Online. In reference to Sword Art Online, I assume. I dive into Baselard. That's the world of ESO. Pretty much every day at this point. Sacrificing sleep in the process, of course. Bad boy, you need your sleep. How can you be a proficient player if you're not fully rested? Dennis Valley was a region in ESO that was full of annoying mobs. They hit super hard, and they couldn't even be bothered to drop any decent loot. Then go somewhere else. There's gotta be some other mobs that drop off decent loot, right? Challenge yourself a little. Only idiots went there to grind. Well, then you're just an idiot. Every vet worth his shit would go to the forest of Liade? No idea if I said that right. Instead, it was a much better place to grind, and it was right nearby. Of course, that was where I went. I take it back, you're not an idiot.
というわけでドキュンと恋愛資本主義者が集まるこんな街は即刻滅ぶべきだね。
DQNs, what pray tell are these? Pronounced Dokyun. Okay, Dokyuns. Used to refer to people who are stupid, antisocial, or delinquents. Why do I have a feeling that's going to be more applicable to you, Mr. Protag?
でもこの部屋の住み心地はまあまあ我慢できるレベル。PC とネット環境は最高水準クラスが揃ってるからね。
I don't know, man. Birds of a fair flock together. I think you'd be a lot less lonely if you didn't have a bunch of fellow Dokuns to keep company, right, Mr. Crow? And also, look at you. You got a top-of-the-line and a PC and super fast internet. So, since you bring it up, care to tell me its specs? Got a high-level Intel or AMC or AMD, excuse me. CPU in there. Got a decent graphics card. Got a good old power supply that can deliver all the juice to both your tower and all your dozens of components that you probably got hooked up to this thing. Like, come on, man. I'm a bit of a tech geek. Give me the details.
まあ学生にしては上等の基地じゃないかな。あ、だから僕はこの部屋のことをベースって呼んでる。
As always, there wasn't a single living creature in here except me. Realizing how ridiculous I sounded talking to myself like this, I decided to stop introducing myself to whoever was watching me.
それにしても汚い部屋だな。
I agree. You should let me come in here and tidy it up for you before I lose my goddamn mind. The whole room reeked of rot. I could feel the stagnating air crawling on my skin, and at this point, so can I. Empty soda bottles and boxed lunches from the convenience store were scattered all over the floor. Okay, an eroge. We got a tip for an eroge now. Also, my bed was covered in piles and piles of eroge. Thanks to that, I always slept on the couch instead. You... Oh, come on, man. You don't want to sleep in a pile of your own gentleman's magazines. Come on, man. I can think of worse piles to sleep in, myself. Okay, I know what an eroge is, but I'm curious to know what the game is going to defy it as, so let's see. 18-plus video games that have been popular ever since the late 1980s, featured mainly on PC. I know, because consoles don't know how to have fun with this stuff. While they may be referred to as video games, the gameplay primarily consists of reading text. Depends on the game. There's plenty of games that aren't just visual novels that are eroges out there. The text is often accompanied by character sprites, backgrounds, as well as special illustrations known as CGs, aka computer graphics. The genre involves the player growing closer to the main heroines and experiencing sexual events with them over the course of the story. These events occasionally include subjects such as coercion or even rape. Depends on the game. Despite the adult content of the source material, several anime have been made based on these games, many of which have established a cult following. And I'm aware that a good chunk of those adaptations had to cut the fun stuff out here. Otherwise, well, they probably wouldn't have sold as well. I don't know. I'm sure they got their reasons. But that's a whole nother discussion. So, an incomplete definition of eroge. I mean, I wasn't expecting to go into every nitty-gritty detail, but I think they could have elaborated a bit more.
片付けろよな。誰だよ散らかしっぱなしにしたのは。って僕か。
Fed up with my own creepy laugh, I took out my frustration on a plastic bottle lying by my foot. If you're not careful, you're going to end up knocking that thing into one of your collectibles. And that would be tragic. The ball ricocheted off the wall and flew straight toward my shelf of perfectly organized figures. With a shriek, I leapt out of my chair to catch it. See? I warned you! You gotta think before you kick. I never let anyone lay a finger on any of my 100-ish waifus, daughters, and older sisters. These girls were my darlings. Just looking at them smoothed my aching heart. Yeah, you got a couple dozen here, but I'm not seeing 100-ish. Not even close. And hello, I think I see a character from Fate in the bottom left corner. I forget her name, but I know of her. I don't think I recognize any of these other characters, though. They might all be original, except for the aforementioned Fate character. I made sure to tidy up their shelf once a week. It was the only place in the room I ever cleaned. Shame on you, you pig. I was always looking for the best ways to display their cuteness. I would constantly rotate and reposition them, trying to create the ultimate layout. Naturally, if I let them get dusty, then the whole thing would be ruined, so I always made sure to clean them regularly. Breathing a sigh of relief, I tossed the bottle aside and turned back to my PC. I kept my beloved PC enshrined in the back of my room. New tips. Sarai... Oh, we got two of them. Next to my computer was Sarai Tan, a 1/8 scale, pre-awakening version. A figure from my current favorite anime, Blood Tune the Animation. She sat there striking a moe pose and smiling at me. Okay, we got 3 tips now. Let's see. Moe! Pronounced moe. In otaku culture, it refers to feelings of affection, adoration, or excitement towards characters, typically female, in manga, anime, video games, and other media. Also refers to a type of character. Also used to describe particular character traits, including flaws like glasses. You call that a flaw? Fuck you. Glasses can be fucking cute. Clumsiness or ditziness. Clumsiness and ditziness, I could argue is actually more of an actual character flaw, because clumsiness causes things and people to fall. Ditziness, well, God help you if you're ditzy and you're ever ditzy in the wrong situation where the smarts would be very crucial for you to have, because people might die or get hurt, or objects might get destroyed, and lots of tears get shed. The term is often used interchangeably with the word cute, or even as a verb, e.g., I moed over her for like an hour. That sounds weak. That sounds kinky. Also used to refer to the culture of entertainment centered around things that are moe. Such media has become so popular that the term has entered the lexicon of otaku not only in Japan, but across the world. Speak for yourself. I never use the term moe. I just use cute like a plain old normal person. Okay, honorifics, Japanese. Japanese employs a system of name suffixes that define the speaker's relationship to the addressee. The common honorifics are as follows. San, the most common honorific, used with strangers, people of equal status, and in general whenever one needs to be polite. When used after the given name, Takumi-san, it indicates a closer relationship. Okay, I knew this bit already. Let's see what else I already know about honorifics. Kun, an informal name suffix generally used for male friends or male subordinates. Also used by males towards female subordinates in professional environments. I kind of knew that one too. Chan, a diminutive suffix that indicates high affection, usually used for small children, young girls, or between close female friends. I think I knew that one too. Tan, an even more diminutive version of the chan suffix, most often used for fictional characters, especially anthropomorphizations, for added cuteness. Didn't know that one. Chin, yet another diminutive version of the chan suffix, most often used by young girls. It is more a cutesy way to refer to friends. Chin. Huh. Okay. I learned 2 new honorifics today. My day is off to a great start. I'm 2 levels smarter than I was starting out today. Seira Orgel. Fictional. The lead heroine of the anime Blood Toon, the animation. Her signature catchphrase is, "Ya big dum-dum!" Okay, so we got the animation as part of the as part of the name, so I assume it's an adaptation of a visual novel or something. And number 2, yeah, this character is a tsundere type, right? Seira is what one might call a tsundere childhood friend type character. He called it! She is 17 years old and a second-year student at Meteor Academy. Oh, so she's an astrologist, too. She can transform into a magical girl using the power of Star, and she is accompanied by her mysterious familiar called something. Why is this so funny? It's not that funny. As is typical of a magical girl, she wields a magical staff she calls Samurai Star Condenser. Despite being referred to as a staff, its appearance is far too brutal for it to be considered such. In reality, it is very clearly a giant metal rod. Seira will also use her staff for physical attacks on occasion, or to put it bluntly, she beats her enemies to a bloody pulp with it. Silent Hill style! Blood Toon was originally a manga, but it was recently received an anime adaptation. Okay, so it was a manga. The anime is currently airing with a total of 26 episodes planned. Now, I can't remember the name of it, but I know there's a term for anime shows that have like anywhere from like 20-something to 26 episodes planned. I wish I could remember what it's freaking called. My memory, it fails me right when I need it most. I'm an immeasurable disappointment to all of humanity. It's a wonder no one has shot me to death yet.
セーラー、かわいいよ、セーラー。
Staring longingly into Sarah Tan's eyes, I grabbed a nearby bottle of cola and took a sip. It was lukewarm, but I didn't care. I hate you even more now.
さてと、円すらないと。
I sat back down and plopped my hands onto the keyboard. Just assuming that position made me feel relaxed. I'm sure it does, you lukewarm coffee drinker, you. My character in ESO, Neidhart, was a paladin. I already leveled him up to the max and reset twice. Well, aren't you just a dedicated little player? Paladin! A holy knight. One of the classes a player can choose in ESO, Empire Sweeper Online. It is characterized by its high defense, ability to use recovery magic despite being a warrior class, and its high resistance to the darkness attribute. However, players cannot change to this class unless they fulfill very specific requirements. It is said to be currently the strongest class in ESO. Well, if that's the case, then I'm pretty sure the overwhelming majority of players who worth their salt are in this class, right? Doesn't sound like good game balance to me if there is one class of character that is obviously better than everybody else. If you want to do decent to good game design when it comes to character classes, you gotta make sure that every character class has got something here that makes them useful in some way. Basic RPG design 101, you know? But what do I know? Right now, he was back to the max level. 50. 50 is only the max level? What kind of freaking weird-ass RPG are you playing here? That was the highest rank you could reach on unofficial servers. ESO players far and wide knew me as Lightning Fast Neidhart. They treated me like a god. I already had all the rare weapons, armor, and magic. I still only had 95% of the total rare items. But whatever. It was still a work in progress. I had so much gold that I didn't even know what to do with it. Well, aside from RMT, real money trading, which I made a living off of. Even if I stopped grinding now, I'd still have enough to keep living like this for half a year. You mean in-game, right? Well, no. No, he just said real money trading. What the hell am I talking about? So wait, this game allows you to trade real currency, which you can then convert to something that you can use to buy groceries, pay your bills, pay rent, all that stuff. Now, where have I seen this sort of thing occur before? Anyway, even though it just tells you right here and there what RMT is, I'm just going to go ahead and check the tip anyway, because maybe there I'll learn something extra. RMT, short for real money trading. The act of exchanging fictional items that appear in MMORPGs and other online games for real currency. This is only possible in games that contain a system that allows for the exchange of items. There are many common issues present in the RMT community, especially fraud, so the practice has its pros and cons. It's like CSGO lotto shit right here. Can't have that. Aside from just ESO stuff, I was particularly adept at chatting online. As are all of us who grew up on a computer from our late teens and beyond. It was the only source of social interaction I ever got, after all. You need to go outside and soak in some vitamin D while speaking to other human beings and exchanging mouth noises between them. It is better for your soul. And your overall physical health. Vitamin D is actually really good for you. Don't take my word for it. I give advice on the huge anonymous forum, @channel. I posted in epic threads too, of course. Oh yeah, and I had over 100 friends on FreePara, a social network I used. SNS, social networking services, also known as social networks, are community-oriented websites that come in a variety of formats, such as registration-based, invite-only, and more. Websites such as these are designed to facilitate easy communication between users. Kind of like what you're all probably watching this video on right now. Easy communication between you guys and to me, and vice versa. At least until YouTube decides, no, you ain't posting this. Even though the guy you're trying to post your thing to is probably A-okay with it. Nuh-uh, we know better. We are your guardians, after all. And I'm just giving them the middle finger afterwards. Respect. Trust. I had it all right here. I didn't go to school. It wasn't so much that I didn't want to, and more that I had no reason to. What, are you some kind of super genius or something? Know the curriculum already? Smarter than all your teachers? I could study anything online. School's completely useless when you can get everything done from home. Well, I did need to attend every once in a while, or else I wouldn't earn enough credits to graduate. That was why I went to school as little as I possibly could. That was the smartest way for a student to live. My parents always nagged me about it, though. To make things easier, I'd invented the minimum attendance chart. According to the chart, I only need to attend 2 or 3 times a week. You need a freaking chart to figure that out? The other students would always make fun of me for being an otaku freak, but as far as I was concerned, they were the stupid ones for going to school every day. Maybe try thinking for yourself for once, dipshits. And now for otaku. The Japanese word for fanatic, nerd, enthusiast, or hobbyist. In other words, it is the Japanese word for fan, which itself is derived from the word fanatic. An all-encompassing term for people with an obsessive interest in a particular topic. Most often refers to fans of anime, manga, and video games, but there are also train otaku, military otaku, electronics otaku, etc. I wonder what a train otaku is like. They must love Thomas the Tank Engine as something fierce. While the word may have held negative connotations in the past, it has become a far less negative over time, with many otaku reclaiming the term as a badge of honor. I don't know. I still see otakus and other fans of Japanese media still getting shit on by everyone outside of those particular fan circles, even to this day, all the time. Being called degenerates and such. Some things never change, from when I was still in school to even now. Along with gamers as a whole, I would argue that otakus are probably the most oppressed class of people in all of society. All in all, my life here really isn't all that bad. I don't know. I'd feel like I'd be trapped in hell if I was living in your shipping container. Of all that filth! Oh, whoops. I've been so thinking about the gays, I forgot I was in the middle of chatting with Grim. How many tips are you gonna throw my way? Jesus Christ, this is killing the freaking pacing. AAK, short for sleep at keyboard. Used when someone has fallen asleep or become unresponsive while logged into a game or chat room. A related term is AFK, meaning away from keyboard. I'm already starting to wonder if this is such a good idea for me to check out all these tips all at once, every time they show up. Grim saying, "You okay?" You're not replying. You AAK or something? Yo, Nineheart. Grim was the handle of one of my ESO friends. I talked to him all the time online, though I never met him IRL. Handle. An alias used by someone in an online service. Okay, this is getting freaking ridiculous. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to only look up the tips here that I'm personally unsure about. At least for now. Maybe I'll go back and check all the other... No, wait. I don't know what I want to do here. Because this is not good for the pacing as far as I'm concerned. But especially since a lot of these tips just... Like, on one hand, I appreciate them just making sure you get all your bases covered on every little thing, little definition they throw your way. But at the same time, though, is it really necessary? He had a keen eye for useful information, so I could generally rely on him to keep me in the loop. Okay, I'll just keep going as I am for now, but if it gets to be especially annoying, the more and more this continues to go on, I will probably just change my approach to the tips. I sat back down and started tapping on a response. Lol. There's a tip for lol. Nah, B. Nah, I didn't fall asleep. I just zoned out for a sec. You must be really tired. Do you not get enough sleep? Or do you just stay up late doing dirty with your GF? LOL. Up all night every night. Lol. There's this short for laugh out loud. Okay, I love how you just got... I love how you just have just this one line for handle, but for LOL, laugh out loud, you got all this shit. Short for laugh out loud. By inserting LOL into the middle or at the end of a sentence, the speaker can convey that they find the situation humorous. On message boards, typing them out in succession, lol, allows users to strengthen the expression or to indicate they're mocking another user, e.g., sure. Variants include LMAO, laughing my ass off, or ruffle, rolling on the floor laughing. Come on, you know I'm not into 3D, ruffle. Yeah, well, 3D can be really nice whenever you get your hands on it. 2D is fine and all, but I mean, if you got some in 3D that isn't looking to just find a way to just make your life oh so exciting in a very unfun manner, then well, nothing can really beat it. Just saying. The two of us chatted about all sorts of things. And since it was all anonymous, I was comfortable with talking about pretty much anything. I'd never act like this IRL. Obviously, what? You're not going to give me a tip on what IRL means? Alright, you like 2D. And by 2D, you mean... a rogue. What is up with you and loot shit? Dude, your bed is covered in filth. Me? You're the guy that has porny delusions all the time. You literally were just going on and on about girls in school swimsuits, remember? LOL. Oh, is that what that swimsuit DLC is for? Is it in reference to this? I was. Anyway, I think I saw a tip. Yet another tip flash. School swimsuit. Again, they're just covering all their bases here. A swimsuit designed for school purposes, worn primarily in physical education classes throughout elementary school, middle school, and high school. In this circumstance, however, it is referring specifically to those worn by women. School swimsuits may be further classified according to color and type. Even now, a fierce debate rages between enthusiasts about whether or not competition swimsuits should be considered school swimsuits. Why is there even a debate? You wear it, so you wear it while in the water, aka swimsuit. There, debate over. I definitely don't remember that. Anyway, if that's what we're talking about, then here's my take on it. Oh, here we go. I'm sure this is going to be a goldmine of knowledge. What the fuck am I looking at? School swimsuit plus glasses equals perfection. Yes. I said yes! New tip, default. It is not a real school swimsuit unless there's a name tag on the chest. No comment. Default, computing software terminology, means initial state. Also used in general conversation to mean the norm or the way it is. These tips are just so ridiculous. It's not a real school swimsuit. Oh, I just read that. It's not a real swimsuit. A swimsuit? Swimsuit! Unless there's a name tag on the chest. No! Oh, he's still texting. In the end, what really matters is the camel toe. Nay! Although the camel toe is nice. New tip, type. So, what was I just rambling about here? The swimsuit glasses combo should be the default. The name tag is unnecessary, though. No respectable individual gives two shits. Well, at least I'm respectable, going by this standard. Some rave over the camel toe, but I don't really think it matters that much in the grand scheme of things. Slow down, man. You like girls with glasses? That's your type? You have no taste. That's all I'm gonna say, buddy. Type. The tendency one has toward a certain interest. Mainly used to refer to the fetishistic characteristics that one finds attractive in a sexual partner. For example, if a person is attracted specifically to women who wear glasses, or they're attracted specifically to clumsy or otherwise ditzy girls, that is their type. At the same time, however, those who possess such fetishistic characteristics can also be referred to using type. An example of this would be an older woman with a calm personality being referred to as a calm older sister type, or a woman who looks young in comparison to her age being referred to as a lolly type. Nah, they just pair well with swimsuits. Usually you take your glasses off for swimming, right? That would be the smart thing to do, yeah. Because the chlorine and all the other filth in the pool would create some pretty unfortunate smears on your lenses. Make it a bit difficult to see. But she doesn't. And that leaves all sorts of room for my delusions to work. Well, your libido is definitely at full throttle today. But that's what makes you you, Nineheart. Lol. I should be disgusted, and yet... Lol. Now we got a libido tip. There is at least 145 different tips I have to sit through. According to Sigmund Freud, we're going into Freudian psychology now, huh? Libido is the energy that causes sexual impulses. Carl Jung, meanwhile, defines it as the body of energy that drives all instincts. All instincts, huh? Well then, is my libido also the thing that drives my instincts to drink mineral water? That's very interesting. Wait, go back. What do you mean that's what makes you you? I mean, yeah, I guess I went a bit crazy there. But I'm still trying to maintain a cool image for myself here. You? Cool? What are you laughing at? You, nerd. Anyway, what were you talking about before I went AFK? It was probably just something to do with ESO. Did you seriously forget? There was an accident IRL recently. An incident IRL? I remembered something like that, but what was it? We gotta know someone new. Shogun has joined the room. Current users 3. Greetings, Lord Shogun. Sup. I introduced myself, but there was no reply from the user named Shogun. What was up with that? Was he ignoring me? And I was being so friendly to him, too. Sup! Peak friendliness. Did he know who he was talking to? I'll have you know I'm the lightning fast Nineheart. You know, I'm just thinking of something. Are you actually called lightning fast because of how fast you finish? If you know what I mean. Boo! Lurking wasn't even allowed here. Now, there is a term I have not heard in a long time. Lurking. Net slang. An online user who browses a website without ever posting on it. I was quite the lurker myself back in my school days. Well, whatever. Might as well just ignore him. I guess that was just another great thing about the internet. There was no need to worry about pointless etiquette. Oh, if only you could see today. If only you could see the internet of today. Anyway, what were you saying, Grim? I was talking about those cases that have been all over the news lately. Like, I know what's happening RL. Probably something stupid, right? Pretty much, yeah. It's pretty shocking, though. Shocking? Must have been some real grisly murder, then. There have been a few here and there recently. You gonna do something? There you go. You're not gonna send me gore again, are you? What, you can't handle a little gore, Nineheart? Oh, lol. Well, personally, I don't like seeing dead bodies. Speaking for myself. Real dead bodies. Still, I really didn't want to see it. Lately, though, it hadn't been easy to avoid that kind of stuff. People were always trying to trick others into clicking on nasty stuff, like gore or some kind of creepy edit. And once you fell for it, you couldn't unsee it.
まあ少しは目が慣れてきちゃってるのかも。
Is that really the sort of thing you want to get used to, though? I mean, there's nothing I can't handle. And they call you the greatest paladin in all of Base Lard, lol. I don't PK, though. PK stands for player kill. In other words, it's when you go around in MMOs killing randos and stealing their gold and gear. So, typical Dyokun stuff. I've already forgotten how to pronounce the damn thing. New tip, trolling. Okay, what's your definition of trolling? Just curious. Net slang. To post controversial opinions or false information for the purpose of provoking a reaction. A person who does this is called a troll. I don't know, I've been called a troll plenty of times for being completely sincere and just speaking facts about things. So, from my personal experience, a troll is just someone who just says literally anything, whether it's real, factual, or otherwise, that just stirs the pot, so to speak. I'm no troll, and I don't stoop to their level either. Well, here's the thing, buddy. You can stoop to the level of troll without even meaning to, or knowing it. Again, speaking from personal experience, so I am a cave creature. What can I say? And just in general, I try to avoid breaking ESO's rules. Oh, whoops. I accidentally hit my controller. It goes against my policy. And, well, except for the rules that prohibit RMT. I broke those all the time. Foohihi. Is foohihi your laugh by any chance? Just curious. New tip, calm your tits. Why do they need a definition for all this shit? Like, holy crap. A crude way of telling someone to calm down. Crude, but sometimes very effective. Wow, calm your tits there, almighty hero. Wow. I'm sure you've heard the news, heard of New Gen, right? New Gen? What was that? Have you ever mentioned before? Somehow I don't think he's talking about a new generation of Pokemon. Grim was talking like I should already have known about it. The hell is New Gen? The New Generation Madness. People call it New Gen Online. It's the name for the mysterious set of incidents happening in Shibuya. It's all up in your neighborhood. That's what they're calling these things? Oh, now that he mentioned it, it did feel like I heard about it somewhere. Though, all I knew was that they existed. I hadn't looked into them at all. What does that say? Delude? Delude? Delude. So, if I used a search engine called Delude, would I get nothing but delusional information with whatever I try to search up? What would I get if I just randomly searched Rule 34, I wonder? I tried Googling New Gen and instantly got a few results. Can you really trust these results? Again, it's called Delude. This whole website we're looking at here could be a delusion. It looks like a news page, so yeah. I'd say it's pretty accurate. News pages being full of delusion, I mean. Let's see here.
この1ヶ月の間に渋谷で発生した2つの事件のことをニュージェネと呼ぶ。その犠牲者は胎児を含めて7人。
A fetus? What the hell happened? Did somebody take a freaking clothes hanger do an impromptu abortion?
1つ目の事件は友人同士5人による高層ビルからの集団ダイブ。2つ目の事件では男性の体内から胎児が出てきた。
What the fuck? Inside the man's body?
これマジかよ。
Anyway, I think I accidentally okay. The first incident was a group dive where 5 friends jumped off a skyscraper. Jesus. A chill ran down my spine. Okay, what do we got here on the side? Death was suicide after jumping off Camellia's tower, an abdomen of man's body in the abdomen before his death. Before his death? RNA analysis, no blood relation found. 8 months into pregnancy, alive, scratch marks found on stitches. What the hell is going on here? Before I'd even realized it, I turned around and was looking around my room again. There were a bunch of results for New Gen on Taboo News, so I went to skim through them. Taboo being in reference to Yahoo, I assume. Honestly, I would argue Taboo would be a much better name for Yahoo. IMO. New Generation Madness. The incidents that had the entire internet in an uproar. There have been 2 of them so far. One of them was so brutal, several TV channels didn't even describe the crime out loud. The first incident, the group dive, had been initially thought to be a suicide, but rumors had since risen that it may not have been. Parents and friends of the 5 victims all said the same thing. None of the victims had shown any signs of planning to commit suicide, and they hadn't any reason to do so either. And on top of that, some physical evidence has been found too. I'm just going to take a quick little drink here because I feel my throat getting a bit parched. So, give me just a sec. Sorry about that. Had a quick look. Well, like someone to have a creepypasta, right? You shit yourself yet? It is kind of like a creepypasta, isn't it? Creepypasta. Internet stories written to frighten or unsettle the reader. A portmanteau of the words creepy and copypasta. Copy pasta is, in and of itself, a portmanteau of copy and paste, and it refers to specific blocks of text that are copied and shared all across the internet, especially on message boards such as @channel. Creepypastas, however, stick specifically to horror. They often feature grisly murders, suicide, hauntings, and various other occult references. You forgot to mention cosmic horror. Those are also fun. Not really. I don't care, to be honest. GuroDaisuke.com, huh? Take a look at this. What is it? A picture of one of the victim's corpses.
僕をバカにして楽しんでるな。
You're a very, unfortunate fellow, Grim. That's all I'm gonna say. He did stuff like this from time to time. But if I wanted to keep up my reputation as the great nine-hearted base lord, I couldn't let it faze me. Or you could just simply not care and do whatever the fuck you want, regardless of what people tell you. Unlike in the real world, I was a god in the world of ESO. I was the strongest, wisest, and most noble knight in all the land. Mocking me would be a fool's errand. And so, gathering up whatever courage I had, I clicked the link. I could never hope to draw this good. Ever. No matter how many years that I practice. This is like some Michelangelo level shit right here. Like, you see this? Actually, Michelangelo himself would be jealous of this artistic skill on display before us. He would just take the nearest chisel hammer, or whatever other tools that he used to create his own masterpieces, and then just stab them through his carotid artery and just die on the spot in just sheer shame and awe at what we're seeing here. I do it myself too, but I don't have anything like that here I can really shove through my neck at the moment. So unfortunately, I gotta live with this shame I feel. In all due seriousness, though, I'm assuming these are knives, whatever I'm seeing stabbed into this guy here, who looks suspiciously like Rayman with Makoto Naegi's hairstyle. LMAO, I got baited. Who did this? Haha. I drew in like 2 minutes. This I don't know. O / an ideograph indicating a person waving. Okay, I see it now. The O is the head and the / is the arm. Typically used as a greeting or farewell. It can also be used to show agreement, as if the user is raising their hand. Typically pronounced as O. Damn, the god of art finally shows himself to us mortals. Raffle. I know! Like I said, I off myself in sheer awe and shame over the display in front of me. And knowing I could never hope to match it if I had a tool to do it right now. I'm just now noticing for the first time that there's a do not open shortcut on this guy's desktop. And it's in the shape of a trash bag. Is that where you keep your digital smut by any chance? Just curious. Anyway, I'm dead, tired, so I think I'm gonna go pass out. Good night. See you tomorrow on Base Lord. Come to think of it, that Shogun guy had been here the whole time. I completely forgotten about him. Not that I cared, though. Well, I don't really feel like sleeping yet, so I guess I'll farm in ESO for a bit. Wait, no, the new episode of Bloodtoon comes out today. I didn't have a TV in my room, so I just made do with my PC.
あと15分ぐらいか。その前にトイレでも行っておこうかな。
You know, now that I think about it, how do you get electricity in here? Did you have to drill a hole to get some cables and you had that are connected to some generator or something nearby or something? How do you get power in here? And where's the bathroom, if you don't mind my... Do I even want to know? I took a quick look at Sarah next to my monitor. I'll get to see Saratan today. I couldn't wait. With that on my mind, I made my way over close to close the chat window. Are you gonna say something before I close, Shogun?
あれ?
Yeah, well, it's not saying something technically, but hey, it's interaction. Shogun had sent a message.
なんだよこいつ急に。
So he wasn't just a lurker? Judging by the file extension, it looked to be an image link. Let me guess. This image that you're linking me to is going to show me something very similar to that fantastic piece of art that I just saw just a couple minutes ago, right? Is Grimm actually a serial killer? And what he showed me was just simply him doing a doodle of a murder he committed? It would certainly explain his getting a kick out of corpses. A sudden link, posted by a suspicious stranger that hadn't sent a single message until now. I gulped instinctively. I couldn't explain why, but I had a bad feeling about it. A feeling like anything I had ever felt in all my time on the internet. I really didn't want to click it. Then don't click it! I clicked my tongue and glanced at the clock. There you go, just click your tongue instead. My rendezvous with Saratan was in 12 minutes. I should probably get this conversation over with quickly. Bait and switch. A type of media in which a person is baited into believing that what they see will be one thing, only for it to be swiftly switched out for something else. Yep, I've experienced plenty of these before in my time. Some I think were actually done pretty well. Others, not so much. It's kind of a case-on-case basis for me personally. The most popular form of bait and switch it takes is when the internet user believes they are clicking a link to something they're looking for, only for it to be led to something wholly undesirable. These can involve any number of things, from jump scares, shock sites, and most often associated with the term, videos used to prank the user in a made-you-look style fashion. When exposed to enough bait-and-switch type media, the user may come to suspect anything and everything they come across. In some cases, they may even be too suspicious to take any action at all, and therefore leave the link entirely alone. That was definitely me back in school. Eventually, I just couldn't trust anything anybody ever linked, ever. They made me a paranoid loon, the whole lot of them. Bastards. Lol? What kind of bait and switch is this? LMAO. Die Walter Ardenschick. When do speak German, huh? Whoa, what's with the German? Lol. I'm very tempted to just put this and his text through a freaking Google Translate or something and see what he's actually saying here, but I don't think I have any way to really copy and paste this. And I don't think I have an easy means to just type it into a random thing either. I don't even have my laptop open to where I can just do that. I was trying my best to act calm and casual. To be honest, I really didn't want to chat with a shitty guy like this. I was so uncomfortable that I could feel a cold sweat forming. He was saying something like, "The world changes if you click it." Seriously, what was his deal? Didn't know you were fluent in German. And if the guy only spoke German, I definitely wouldn't be able to deal with him. Sorry for startling you. Huh, so we could actually speak normally. I relaxed a little bit. I'm just curious, can I see the text in the backlog? No. Apparently not. DW, you're fine. Short for don't worry. Any reason for lurking? Did someone give you that you need to lurk for 6 months before posting spiel? I was thinking. By the way, where are you chatting from? For some reason, there was a short pause. Shibuya. All at once, images of those gruesome new-gen incidents flashed through my head. Even though I hadn't actually seen any photos, I could picture them so vividly that it was almost like I'd been there myself. The man's torn up stomach. The lifeless fetus shoved inside. The 5 people that dove off the building, instantly turning into a pulpy, inhuman puddle upon hitting the ground. Just thinking about it was almost enough to make me puke. I shook my head violently, as if to shake the gruesome delusion out of my head. This Shogun guy was so suspicious, I couldn't stop the paranoid delusions from forming. What was he trying to drag me into? Same here. Looks like a lot of weird incidents have been happening lately, huh? More are coming. What do you know, Shogun? Shibuya is so scary. Shiver. What kind of mathematical formula is this? No, wait. Maybe it's scientific formula? No, it's mathematic, because we got this. We got the multiplication. I do not know what that is. Was this Shogun guy some kind of Denpa nut job? What's Denpa? I think I should know what that is, but I don't. Also, NGL. Net slang, short for not gonna. Let's just look up Denpa first. A term used to refer to individuals who act or speak in a way that is commonly regarded as incoherent, nonsensical, or disconnected from the world around them. The term comes from the Japanese word denpa, which translates literally to electromagnetic waves. This is because people in this category often believe they are hearing voices, thoughts, or instructions in their head via electromagnetic radiation. Okay, I know these people. NGL, net slang for not gonna lie. Used to express that your statement is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Often utilized in order to soften a statement, or when admitting to something that may not be the most flattering. Okay, doesn't look like I got anything else I missed. I've never seen that formula before in my life. And when you're as smart as me, that was saying something. I tried looking it up. In this day and age, there was all sorts of information on the internet, so it'd be easy to find.
あれ、ヒットしないな。
Was he trying to act smart by typing some nonsense formula? Fuck if I knew. fun and INT. And IR too. They're abbreviations for something, but what? That formula has killed this world's possibilities. What are you trying to say? And what was that link from earlier? Should I just take the bait already? Well, I thought it might interest you. Oh, he's got a whole bunch of them. All of a sudden, the chat was flooded with links. Just who was this guy? Was he trying to scare me for shits and giggles? He was a friend of Grimm's, and they teamed up to mess with me. Feeling the gaze again, I took a look around the room. But surprise, surprise, all that was behind me was darkness and clutter, as per usual. I was hit with an unnatural sense of dread. The feeling of perpetually being watched left me feeling restless.
僕を見るな。
And upon saying that, I realized that my voice was trembling. It was almost like the cluttered room I knew so well had transformed into someplace completely foreign. If you've ever gone to go to the bathroom at night after watching a horror movie, or listening to a ghost story or something, you may know the feeling of being unnerved, or even terrified, by the dark hallways of your own home. That was close to how I felt right now.
くそ、釣られたりするもんか。
In spite of my shuddering, I faced the monitor, leaned in, and before I knew it, with a slight twitch of my index finger, I clicked one of the links. Whoa! What the hell was that? Corpses? I really had no clue how it happened. It wasn't like my hand had been possessed by some unnatural force or something. I just sort of done it without thinking. But even though I knew full well that it'd be a mistake, I clicked it as if it were the most natural thing in the world.
なんだよこれ。
The image that filled my monitor looked like some kind of modern art piece. An arrangement of spikes, like the quills of a hedgehog were pins in a pincushion, protruded from the wall in the shape of a cross. Below it, a puddle of dark red. And in front of it were small pieces of something, scattered across the ground like garbage. Seriously, what even was this? The work of some pretentious avant-garde artist? Those sorts of idiots were all over the place. They'd make gory stuff like this, then spout some bullshit like it depicts the latent chaos oft laid bare in this cruel world. No way in hell I'd ever consider that shit art. Still, what a weird image. It hadn't explicitly been gore, but it was definitely borderline. Well, can I see it? So then, why? Why had it seemed so graphic? Why had it seemed so realistic? Probably because it's real. Why was I imagining the stench of blood? And why was that stench so strong that it nearly made me choke? It was all in my head, so why did I feel sick to my stomach? I felt a sharp, throbbing pain in my forehead. Nausea wouldn't go away. I desperately reached for my mouse, but my trembling hand knocked it off the desk, leaving it dangling above the floor by its cord. I reeled it back up to the mouse pad, and then finally, close the image. But just as I thought it was finally over, my eyes were struck by... Whose eyes are those eyes? Who the hell is this guy? He's obviously connected to whatever's going on here. These new gen murders. But how exactly is he related to it? Are they someone trying to stop the murders? Reaching out to anyone who they think might be able to help? Or are they directly involved in the murders and they're just dragging me in there as a possible future victim? What exactly this guy's game is, I do not know yet. I glanced at the minimum attendance chart. We got a tip for up. Okay. Okay. What is this? Net sling, short for upload. Okay, good to know. In the end, I hadn't managed to catch the new Bloodtoon episode live. No big deal though. Someone had upped it to MewTube after the fact, so I'd been able to just watch it there. Still, I didn't feel any better though. Those last words Shogun had left behind. It was almost as if he knew about God's gaze and how much it terrified me. It was way too specific for it to be just a coincidence. Maybe someone had leaked some info about me online. Maybe it was another ESO player with a grudge against Nineheart or something. Well, here's my question to you. Have you ever spoken about such a thing to anybody online before? Because if not, then that just raises even more questions, which also in turn raises some very unsettling implications. Prodigies like me get a lot of love, so naturally they also get a lot of hate. I don't know, man. I have yet to see anyone show you any love. Well, most haters out there were just jealous. You wouldn't see them around much, but every once in a while, some child would try to start shit because he was jealous of Nineheart's strength and popularity. They weren't worth anyone's time. But we've gone off topic now. Anyway, yeah, that Shogun guy really got to me. Earlier, I tried logging on to ESO to grind for a little while, but I just couldn't concentrate. And to make matters worse, of all days for this to happen,
最悪の日だ。
On top of everything else that happened, I also had to go to school today. I seriously didn't want to go, but if I didn't follow the minimum attendance sheet to a T, my calculations would get completely thrown off. Worst case scenario, I'd even have to repeat the year.
眠いのに。
I stifled a yawn and started trudging off towards school, a trip that would be about 10 minutes from my base on foot. It's not far. As soon as I started walking, my mood sank even lower. My body grew heavy, and I found it strangely hard to breathe, causing me to break into an uncomfortable sweat. This is what always happened on school days. Going to school was pure suffering. Why did I have to go through this? Grumbling to myself, with my eyes fixed on the pavement, I kept on walking. I wonder, am I going to run into the pink-haired lady on my way here, by any chance? This seems like a ripe opportunity for such a miraculous coincidence to occur. I turned to enter Shoto Park. The school was just past it. Over by the lake, an elderly couple was taking their morning stroll. Nearby, a businessman sat on a bench, reading the sports section of the newspaper. For a park on the outskirts of a bustling city like Shibuya, it was surprisingly calm. Definitely a great place to relax. I took a seat on another bench nearby. Before heading to school in the morning, I always came here to eat breakfast. I gazed out toward the peaceful pond, the water surrounded by trees with off-color leaves, their hues slowly changing as autumn rolled in. As per usual, today's menu was just a cream bun that I'd picked up from an earlier convenience store on the way here. It'd be enough to tide me over until later tonight. Just a cream bun? That's it? God, you must be skin and bones. I always skipped lunch. Nobody wanted to eat lunch with an otaku freak like me, and there was no way in hell I'd eat alone when surrounded by people eating and chatting together. After washing down my breakfast with some cola, I began staring up at the sky absent-mindedly. No matter the season, the sky above Shibuya was always pretty bleak. My parents only lived a few train stations away, but there was still a clear difference between here and there. Don't get me wrong, I didn't especially mind the bleak sky, but I also couldn't really explain why. I glanced at my watch to check the time. I needed to get going, or I'd be late. I'd have to avoid that outcome at all costs. I only came to school 2 or 3 times a week, so I had to keep a low profile. To make it through school, I had to blend in, to become invisible like the air. The ideal school day was one where nothing happened. One where I didn't have to deal with any of my teachers or dukans. So let me just look that stupid thing up real quick again, so I don't keep messing up the pronunciation. DQN, 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 DQN. What the hell is it? Of course I can't search. Why would I be able to? Oh, there it is. Dokyun. Thank you. Dokyun. That was the ultimate goal I shot for, and would continue to be until the day I'd finally graduate. This was Sume Private Academy, the school I went to. Apparently, it had only been built around 10 years ago, so it didn't exactly have a rich history or anything like that. Since it still looked brand new, it made a pretty good setting for high school TV shows. On top of that, the school uniforms had apparently been designed by some famous designer. A ton of shallow-ass girls enrolled just so they could wear it. And while they called it a prep school, most students here didn't score much higher than the national average. Even more ironic, though, was that the school slogan was, "Here you'll be free," and yet the school rules were actually really strict. Why do I have a feeling that slogan's going to be real important later on? Then again, they've never actually bothered enforcing those rules. So I guess the slogan wasn't really wrong in the end. I mean, I barely ever showed up, and I passed my classes just fine. If you could get away with that, you could probably get away with anything. As I closed in on the school, I could hear the other students more and more clearly. I wasn't good at dealing with crowds, so I just kept my head low as I stepped through the gate. I need another drink. Nobody talk to me. Nobody talk to me. I repeated those words in my head like a mantra. My younger sister also attended this school. Oh, you got a sibling. Though she still lived with my parents. Run into her, and any perfectly fine day could turn into a nightmare. What's wrong with your sister? She can't be that much of a nightmare, can she? Luckily, I hadn't run into her this time. I made it to class safe and sound. I rushed over to my seat, being extra careful not to make eye contact with anyone. I could feel a nearby group of girls shoot a glance at me, but thankfully, they went right back to chatting afterward. They all thought I was a freak. I was sure of it. From my point of view, you 3D sluts are the real freaks here. Another drink. Right. If you think I'm a freak, then don't look at me. Just pretend like I'm not here. Don't acknowledge me at all. If you all just do that, then I won't bother you either, and I can go about my day in peace. Don't worry, my friend. I have a feeling you're gonna grow to love 3D real soon before you know it. That's why it always confuses me when I see dokuns calling people freaks. I just don't get it. If you think you're such a freak, then why even bother talking to them? Just stay in your corner, and they'll stay in theirs. Well, from my personal experience, there are some actual freaks in this world that are just not content to stay in their little corner, but invade everybody else's, or else. So, yeah. Just saying. It's not that cut and dry, my friend. Regardless, I was just sitting there, looking down at my desk, when...
Yo, Taku.
Someone suddenly clapped me on the back. Startled, I turned to look behind me.
お前、今日って学校来る日だっけ？三角くん。
Sume, okay, so... This is a school uniform at school, so whoever pink hair is from earlier on, they must also go to my school. It was Misumi Daisuke, one of my classmates. He shot me a friendly smile from beside my desk. The guy was pretty handsome, so all the girls were into him. But he was also into them, and dated them. A lot of them. Ah, regular playboy, huh? Usually multiple at a time. Yep, definitely a playboy. If you ask me, he was balls deep into dokun territory. If it were up to me, I'd steer clear of him, but...
相変わらず暗い顔してんな。ゲームのやりすぎで寝不足か？別に。
He was the only person in class who was comfortable talking to me. Though we had absolutely nothing in common, so I had no idea why he bothered. I've been suspicious about it ever since the school year began. If I were a girl, I could maybe understand, but since I was a guy, it made no sense to me.
引きこもりだからしゃあねえかもしんねえけどよ。もっとこうハキハキ答えろって。
I would if I could. Just the act of talking to another 3D human being was so painful. Was painful, excuse me. Anxiety made it hard for me to speak naturally. My lack of experience made it hard for me to articulate things. And I was always afraid of being teased for saying something weird. That was why I always shrunk back. You have no idea how much pain I'm going through, so please don't talk like you know me. Also, I'm not a goddamn shut-in. Yes, you are. Real shut-ins stay in their rooms 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. I'm not like that. Nobody could pull that off, my friend. Nobody. Clearly you've been using delude too much.
女相手に緊張するならともかく、そういう態度されると俺らホモと思われるじゃねえか。
Wait, was he just dating girls as a cover? Had he been into guys all along? Well, there's an early plot twist. I tried to back away from him, nearly falling out of my chair in the process. But I quickly grabbed onto my desk, catching myself.
何してるなお前。
三角君はホモなの？
なわけねえだろ。お前俺の女好きを忘れたのか？
Then you could be bisexual.
だよね。はあ、ビビった。
ちなみに
Misumi-kun took a quick look around, then lowered his voice and grinned from ear to ear.
昨日このクラスの女子で3人目を落とした。誰だか聞きたいか？
Also, I gotta say, it's pretty neat to see some sprite work with actual blinking and mouth movements.
いいよ、別に。
だよ、もっと興味示せよ。田中だぜ、田中。
Okay, who's Tanaka?
田中って誰？
お前、もうすぐ10月だってのに、未だに同じクラスのやつの顔を覚えてねえのか。ま、3次元に興味ないんじゃ、それも当然か。
Visibly frustrated, he shrugged his shoulders and let out a sigh. Well, interestingly enough, he never insulted my taste in girls, which was, to put it simply, that they had to be from the second dimension. But he never called me a freak for that. He just didn't bother with things that didn't interest him. That was what made me think he may not have been all that bad. I don't know, he could still think that you're a freak, even if he doesn't ever say it. That was also probably the reason why I didn't mind talking to him.
これでうちのクラスの可愛い女はほぼ攻略完了だ。そろそろ隣のクラスに守備範囲広げようかって思ってんだよ。
I'm just gonna say something to you right now, good sir. Sooner or later, you're gonna two-time the wrong girl, and when that happens, life is gonna get a lot more stressful for you before too long. Just saying. You're playing a dangerous game here, my dude. Okay, maybe he was pretty bad. If a girl overheard some of the shit he said, she'd be horrified. I don't know, I think some people would actually get turned on by him. You'd be surprised how many ladies are into bad boys.
D 組によ、めったに学校来ねえけど、すごくいい女がいるらしいんだよ。なんか、そういう、燃えねえか。あ、お前の場合は燃えるんじゃなくて、燃えだっけか？
Well, he's not wrong. Are you talking about 2D? That's not... Whatever. Okay, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna lower the sound just a smidge. I think that's good, actually. Are you talking about 2D? That's not... whatever.
ま、お前の興味ねえ話はそろそろやめるか。じゃあよ、ニュージェネの話知ってるだろ。
I didn't expect to hear those words come out of his mouth. And here I thought he was only capable of thinking about girls. I couldn't even picture him watching the news or reading the newspaper.
集団ダイブの事件さ。あれも噂によると殺人らしいぜ。
へえ。
マジだって書いてあったんだよ、スポ島に。
New tip source. So his source was Sports Tokyo. That kind of erased any and all credibility. Still, I'd already known about that rumor. Not that I cared.
で、聞いて驚け。 その殺人鬼が女で、しかもかなり美人だって目撃証言があんだよ。
女。
Watching Misumi-kun get so excited, it finally hit me. Why did he suddenly care enough to read Sports Tokyo? Same reason he cared about anything else. Something to do with girls. What a twist. I guess Misumi-kun would even go after serial killers as long as they were cute. I mean, if it were me, I'd take a cute 2D serial killer, but... Well, you're both lethally stupid. Or too dumb to live, rather. That's fine, though. It's people like you that keep Darwin busy, giving the poor guy a paycheck. Source: the origin of a person's information, be a document, news article, historical materials, etc. Or, depending on what kind of profession that you are a part of, your ass. Due to a large amount of false information present on online forums, it is important for a poster to provide the source if they want to be trusted. Often referred to on the internet as sauce. For example, where's the sauce? I.e., where's the source of that? I don't know, if someone asked me where's the sauce, I would ask, what, the Szechuan sauce? The barbecue sauce? The Worcestershire sauce? But maybe I'm the weirdo here. A distinct possibility, I won't lie. Then, for some reason, his face suddenly lit up as he'd reached the enlightenment itself.
どんなやつなんだろうな、犯人って。本当に美人なのかな。会ってみてー。
You want to meet someone who is able and willing to push 5 people to their deaths off a rooftop? You really are a weirdo. I'm the normal one here, people. These people want to hook up with 3D and 2D serial killers. Yeah, this dude definitely thought exclusively with the wrong head.
俺だけは殺されねえ自信があんだよな。だってほら。 俺ってかっこいいだろ。いくら連続殺人鬼でも俺みたいないい男に会ったらコロッと惚れちゃうぜ。
You better pray that you don't meet a very specific serial killer, though, because there are those that are also into killing cute guys. Just saying. And that's why she wouldn't kill you. This guy was so delusional that he gave me a run for my money. The fact that he's able to say all that without even a hint of irony was honestly pretty gross.
僕は興味ないから。
でもよ、興味ないっつったって、犯人は絶対この辺うろうろしてんだぞ。どっかですれ違ってたりするかもしんねえし。
Yeah, well, for all I know, you could be the murderer. True, you could be. Definitely got the smug face of a murderer, that's for sure. Okay, probably not. But it was entirely possible that the killer could be one of the students at this very school. Jinx yourself, why don't you? What could possibly go wrong? New tip, PTSD. Short for post-traumatic stress disorder, from the DSM-4, Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, 4th edition, published by the American Psychiatric Association in 1994. A mental condition caused by the severe psychological shock of an accident, disaster... Excuse me, that was very rude and gross of me. Accident, disaster, crime, or other intense stressor. It induces several stress-related symptoms, including emotional instability, insomnia, confusion, and vivid flashbacks. These symptoms are often triggered in response to stimulus that is similar to the original trauma. A patient must experience these symptoms for over a month in order to be diagnosed with PTSD. If that turned out to be true, then maybe I use my PTSD as an excuse to come in less often on hurting my tendons. What the hell could you have possibly experienced to get you diagnosed with PTSD?
なあ、今日俺と一緒に殺人現場見に行かね。ここから歩いて行けんだってよ。まだ血とか残ってるらしいぞ。
I had absolutely zero interest in doing that. I just wanted to get through school in peace, go home, greet Saratan, and get back to being worshipped like a god and base lord.
もう小橋と長谷川は見に行ったって言ってたしよ。
本当に興味ないんだ。
What the hell is this? Some kind of dialogue choice or something? I felt bad about turning Misumi-kun down, since he seemed so excited about it, but I really did not want to go. But even though I was trying my hardest to refuse, he just wasn't listening.
そしたら犯人とばったり会っちゃったりしてな。犯人は犯行現場に戻ってくるってよく言うだろ。んで、次はタクがターゲットにされるんだ。死をもって罪を償うみたいな。罪状はそうだな、引きこもってたからってことで。
僕は引きこもりじゃ。
Seriously, what was that border I just saw? Was I supposed to interact with it in some way? Taking some offense at Misumi-kun's choice of words, I almost snapped back at him. But I quickly decided against it when I considered the possibility that he might get upset at me. So I just bit my lip and turned away. And when I did, I noticed that there was something written on the blackboard. At first, I didn't really care enough to read what was written there. My mind only registered the fact that something was written there, and not what it was. But the longer I gazed at it, the more I realized something was wrong. Before I knew it, I was out of my chair.
ちょっとどいて。
おい、どうしたんだよ。
Oh dear. I pushed Misumi-kun aside and rushed over to the blackboard. The instant I realized what it said, I felt my heart stop. Whose eyes are those eyes? Those were the words I said to myself whenever I felt God's gaze. I never said them out loud before. I hadn't told anyone about them either. Not even Misumi-kun. It didn't matter how often I used it. There was no way anyone in this class could know about that phrase. So who? Why? How? Maybe it was Shogun who wrote that? I quickly turned around and scanned the room. The only person paying any attention to me was Misumi-kun. The rest were talking to their friends, reading manga, despite manga being against the rules, or sleeping on their desks. What a miserable school this is, not being allowed to read manga. So, question. Can anybody else see this writing on the blackboard? Or is it just me? Then who? Who had written it? And when? Had it been there the whole time? Since before I'd even entered the classroom? I couldn't remember. It wasn't like I'd ever pay attention to the blackboard anyway.
なあ、どうしたんだ?
Misumi-kun walked up to me, grabbed my shoulder, and gave me a good shake.
聞いてる? おーい、タク.
It didn't matter who'd written it. It had to be a coincidence. You, Mr. Genius, think this is a coincidence. After everything that you've experienced so far earlier on your little chat group. After what you'd seen, what was said to you? I don't know, man. I'm already questioning. And the fact that you even have a freaking goddamn chart just to keep track of the number of times you attend school a week. I don't know, man. I'm questioning your intelligence already. It must have been a common phrase or something. Common phrase where? It was just a stupid, pointless scribble. Yeah, that had to be it. I tried to convince myself of that, but it was still freaking me out. I still had no clue who'd written it. I'd have to ask everyone in the class to figure that out. I didn't have anywhere near that kind of courage. Immediately after I thought that, homeroom began and my teacher came in the room. His eyes immediately zeroed in on the words written on the board, and with a quick, "Come on, who wrote this?" he grabbed the eraser and wiped them all away. Okay, so other people can see them. Okay. We've been going on for a little over 2 hours now, so I think this is probably a good place to stop here. We got a pretty interesting little mystery set up here, involving lots of gruesome deaths, and apparently, if the very beginning prologue thing is anything to go by, at the very least, city-ending event. So whatever is going on with these murders and whatever we saw in the beginning, clearly it's all going to be leading up to something very cataclysmic, and lots and lots and lots of people are possibly going to die. But given what I've seen so far, especially with those words showing up on the blackboard, and the fact that also as we saw in the beginning, with the pink-haired girl being able to just summon a goddamn sword-like weapon, I suspect that whatever is going on here is clearly supernatural in nature. That probably isn't that whatever is going to end up happening possibly isn't a man-made disaster. Possibly. But if it's caused by magic, I guess you could say it is a form of man-made, but, well, that's just semantics at this point. But whatever. But you know what I'm trying to say, I'm sure. Either way, I am certainly intrigued so far. So, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and end things here. I hope you guys enjoyed this first episode of Chaos Head Noah. If you did and you want to see more content from me, feel free to subscribe to my channel. I will see you all next time for the next episode of learning 100 definitions all at once, within the span of a couple hours. Mark my words, there's probably gonna be more of that too happening. And like the diligent little man that I am, I'm going to just read through all of them and just bring the pace down to a grinding halt. Take care, everybody. Have a good day.